So there's a lot more plants that could be in this. I tried to just hit some of the highlights here, the ones that are probably going to be the easiest for you to find, and the ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck as far as multi-season interests. First off, what do plant people mean when they say, different things about plants? We got texture, which refers to the plant's foliage, and you can see those two pictures there. There's two different types of foliage there. You can see that there's a big difference in shape and color. And we have fine or small or narrow leaves and coarse or larger leaves, which is in this picture here. And we want to get as much texture and different foliage types together. That's just going to give you a lot more interest in your garden. Habit, that's the general shape of the plant. We've got columnar there on the left. We got round there. You see ones in the middle there. There's a couple in round. And then some at the wide at the base. Those base, the ones that's usually wide at the base are a lot of our evergreens. But you can see there's all different types of shapes and habits of different plants. You pick the plant based on your location and what you need there. You need a narrow plant, you're going to want a columnar plant like those ginkgo there. Contrast, that makes the garden design or makes it pop, such as your bright flowers, your foliage flanked with darker foliage plants and arching shrubs next to a straight wall or a sidewalk, which is going to soften that hard line. And you can see in that first picture there that there's all different sizes and colors there, which is really drawing your eye up or to your direction that you want to go. And you can see the taller plants in the back, and it's working its way up to the back of the border. Now, if you wanted to view your border from both sides, you would put the taller ones in the middle and then step down. And then you can see this wall here, these hydrangeas are kind of falling over the wall, which is softening that sharp wall or curve there and just making it look more inviting. Color's always good, even if you, some people like to pick their colors bait and pick a palette, maybe a white garden or something like that. But I'm one of those people, the more color, the better. But if you're a person that likes more formal colors and those kinds of things, you can go with that palette as well. The season of interest is just a fancy way of saying when the plant adds color to the garden or texture or foliage or bark or whatever. That's just your season of interest. Like that first picture there, that's a paper bark maple. You can see there it's got fall color, and then it also has that gorgeous cinnamon bark that peels off, which is really more why we grow it than even for the fall foliage, but it's a really pretty plant. And then there's a Rosa Sharon there, which is just, in summer, you're going to get those summer flowers on it. And in dwarf, you think of dwarf as being really tiny, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a tiny plant. It just means it's going to be smaller than a typical species would be. You can see that on the right there, that magnolia there, that southern magnolia, that's probably D.D. Blanchard, or not D.D. Blanchard, but D.D. Blanchard's a full size one, I think. But anyway, it's a smaller one, but it's still going to get 20 feet tall. The straight southern magnolia can get 40 or 50 feet tall. So even though they're calling it dwarf, it's still a pretty big plant. So we're just going to start talking about some of these different plants that you might want to add to your garden as far as shrubs. Some flower, some are for flowering foliage, some are for just whatever different aspects of makes them nice in your garden. This is a Abelia. If you haven't grown a Abelia before, you need to try it. These are a couple new varieties, or 3 new varieties here. But Abelia is really neat because it blooms the entire season, spring, summer, and fall. It's good for the pollinators. It also has contrast with its foliage and its flowers, as you can see there. Bronze anniversary there at the top. It's got that foliage that's tipped yellow. Then it has the kind of whitish pink flowers, and then the foliage at the bottom is a little darker. So you got 3 different colors there on that same plant. And then Ruby Anniversary is the second one there. That one's got purple and pink flowers and foliage. And then Sunny Anniversary is at the bottom. That one's got multicolored flowers on it, and they change color as the season goes on. And these are just really nice plants, and you can cut them back pretty hard, and they're fine. They'll come right back out. But if you haven't tried Abelia, you need to give it a shot. I think you'll like it in your you can mix it into your flower border or even in just your landscape around the house. This is the new butterfly bush series called Pugster. They're smaller than the regular butterfly bush. I know some people have said that butterfly bush can be invasive. There's an older bluish colored one that does seed some. But these newer ones have been pretty well behaved. You can see there's poster blue at the top, poster periwinkle next, and then poster white. You're probably saying, well, why butterfly bush? Well, there's a couple of reasons. This one is a smaller one. It's going to fit into your landscape a little better. And as long as you deadhead, they will keep flowering for you until a hard freeze or a frost. And also, the pollinators really do like this. Butterflies like it. It may not be the healthiest for them, maybe, but they sure do you'll bring a lot to your garden with butterfly bush. Caryopteris, you may not think of as a shrub, although it can get woody and stay as a shrub. Sometimes, depending on the winter, it might die back to the ground. But it is a really neat plant. There's some new varieties here, newer, I guess. We have Little Miss Sunshine up there, which has the kind of lime colored foliage, and then it has the contrast with the blue flowers. These plants, like the butterfly bush, will bloom again if you deadhead them. Then we have Beyond Midnight, which has a really darker blue flower, and then Sunshine Blue down there. You can see it's chartreuse foliage contrasting with those light blue flowers. So you got an entire we're all late spring, summer, and fall foliage, and maybe flowers if you keep them deadheaded. So you've got a lot of color there on a plant that's not real big, maybe 3 feet tall. Our winters lately have been pretty good on these, but that fluctuation may cause some dieback. But I've always had them come back from their root if they got killed back to the ground, so they're still good plants. Smoke tree, there's a couple varieties of these out there that are really cool. Some people like the smoke flower. I personally don't like it. I like the foliage better. You can cut these down each year, cut them way back really hard, and they'll get new growth. And you get that nice color. This one right here is Gold Spirit. You can see that gold color on the foliage, and then you got those little orange tips. And then the fall color is really nice on these as well. They're really forgiving. If you want to hack them back quite a bit, they'll come right back every season for you. And then we have the purple form there. You can see the top right picture. That's in bloom. Some people like that, some don't. It's okay for me, but some people really like it. I like it cut back like the first picture there, where you get the nice dark foliage, and then you get that nice fall color behind it as well. We're going to hit a bunch of hydrangeas here. Several reasons. They're gorgeous. They're easy to grow. These types we're going to talk about are easy to grow. And there's so much work being done on these different sizes and colors that's really come in really cool. These are the smooth hydrangeas. Annabelle, that's the snowball-like flowers there at the top right. Annabelle, Lime Ricky, and Incredible, these can be cut back and they'll still bloom because they'll bloom on new wood. So we have Lime Ricky, which is a lime-colored flower. And then we have Incredible here at the bottom, which has really large snowball flower. A lot of people call these snowball bushes. There's snowball bush that are in the hydrangea family and in the viburnum family. So that's just a common name that you can go by. But these are all really nice. Next, we have the paniculata. These are the hardy hydrangeas. Like the stems, you have to have old wood for these to bloom, so you wouldn't cut these back unless you just wanted to head them back to make them a little shorter. Bobo is a short plant, only 3 to 4 foot tall and wide. It's a gorgeous plant when it's in full bloom. I've had one for years now, and it stays that shape there, and it just blooms. It's a little fluffy head off, I guess you would say. And then we have Firelight, which starts out kind of a light pinkish white, and then it turns that reddish pinkish color. And the great thing about these hydrangeas is, especially these paniculatas, is they will hold their blooms on, and they'll start to dry on the plant, and they'll keep some of that color. So you've got color out there well past when these flowers are spent. A couple more of the paniculata types. We have Limelight. It's a really nice one. We have Little Lime, which is a shorter version, which is really nice if you want a 6 to 8 foot tall hydrangea. You want something a little shorter. This one's 3 to 5 feet, and then Little Lamb's even smaller than that. But Little Lamb, I will say, has huge flowers to be such a small plant. But it does, it might flop a little bit on you, so you may need to give it a little bit of support just whenever those heads are in full flower. Little quick fire, the top right there. It's a really deep burgundy. It turns from that white color all the way to that deep burgundy color as it's aging, which is cool. And then we have Mega Mindy, which is another one that turns more of a light pink. And then Pinky Winky, the flowers as they open from the top and they age, they fade down. It kind of reminds me of maybe a strawberry sundae or something, but it's a really pretty plant too. But it's pretty big, 6 to 8 feet tall, so you need to have some room for it. Pillow Talk is a pretty new one. That's 6 to 8 feet tall, and you can see it's got a different shape, more of a rounded bloom on it, but it still turns the red color. And then Polar Ball is another one. It's a big flower. You can see the guy there holding the flower there. You can see how big it is. And then Quick Fire is really cool because it turns that fire color really quickly, a little quicker than Pinky Winky does. So then we have our oak leaf hydrangeas, which are really cool because these have the nice flowers that will also turn kind of a more of a pinkish color as they age. And the great thing about these plants, when they get mature, they have beautiful bark at the bottom, and that gives you your fall and winter colors as well on those. So those are really cool to have in your garden. We have Gatsby Moon. That's another oak leaf. You can see that flower's almost double. We have Gatsby Pink, which is the same as that one, as Gatsby Moon, but turns pink, and then Gatsby Star. And you can see how those little stars open up there, and you can see the star shapes. This little honey, it kind of looks like it's chlorotic to me a little bit, but you do have that chartreuse foliage if you like that color, contrasting with the white. Munchkin is a smaller oak leaf hydrangea here. It is actually a Theodore Klein Award. So if you're familiar with Udell Gardens, that's Theodore Klein Award comes from there. And we have Peewee, another small one there at the bottom, which if you want something a little shorter, it's shorter, but it's still 4 to 5 feet tall. So that's mature height, of course. Ruby Slippers is another one of the nice oak leaves that turns that red color. And then we have Snow Queen, which is an older variety, but it gets huge. You can see they're 10 foot. But once you get a mature specimen of that plant, it's spectacular when it's in full bloom. All right, now we're going to go to a big group of plants that have a lot of interest. There's probably 2,000 viburnums out there right now. So we're going to hit some of these. Some of these smell wonderful when they're in flower. We have Diana there and Spice Baby. Spice Baby smells amazing when it's in flower. And then you see Spice Girl, Spice Baby, Ralph Senior. That's good fall color. And then we have some of the Arrowwoods there. You can see Blue Muffin has the bluish purple fruit on it. All That Glitters, you can see that foliage there. You can see why it's called All That Glitters is because the foliage is real shiny and it's got a kind of a wrinkle to it, so it doesn't look like it's glittery. And then Linda there has the yellowish orange fruit, and then Cardinal Candy has red. Now all of these also give you spring flowers, and then they'll give you your fall berries or summer and fall colored berries. And then a lot of them, like Spice Girl and Ralph Senior up there, will give you a good fall color on your foliage as well. Here's some more of the berry type. We have Tandoori, which is a nice orange. And if you want a nice orange color for fall, it's a cool one to have. Winter through there, you can see that you've got the dark berries and you got your fall foliage there. It's a little dark burgundy color, which is cool. Brandywine has berries that are 2 different colors on it, which is also something that gives you some more contrast. And then we'll skip around some of these. Oh, Canada there, you can see the foliage there. Just the regular foliage is really cool. And give you contrast on that one. And then Red Wig, you can see the top edges of the leaves are red, and then it turns to more of a chartreuse green down inside. So those are all some really ones that give you a lot of different color for a long season. Another thing about viburnums, they are the easiest shrubs you can grow. I mean, they're tough as nails. We have a few evergreens I want to throw in there. These are all pretty new. We have Holstrup arborvitae, which I think it's short. It's only 6 to 9 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. So it's a good upright plant if you wanted maybe to walk something, just a little privacy. It's a good one for that. And then we have Anna's Magic Ball. You can see that arborvitae there has got a nice color to it. And then North Pole arborvitae on the right side over there. It gets 10 to 15 feet tall and only 3 to 5 feet wide. So it's another one of those that's good for making a screen. There are all kinds of hollies on the market. A lot of them get really big. They'll need trimming if you put them in your landscaping. A lot of people have put them in their landscaping and have had issues on keeping them on their sizes. So just keep that in mind when you plant these. We have Burfordia. There's 20 feet tall, but you can see that it's got more of a rounded or oval shaped leaf to it, which is evergreen, obviously. And then you've got your red berries. And then needlepoint. If you look closely at needlepoint, you can see that the tip of the leaf is really sharp, and it is, you almost couldn't make a needle out of it. It's that sharp. Just be careful with it. But if you want a smaller one, there's rotunda there. It's only 4 feet tall and 8 feet wide. Now 8 feet wide is a wide plant, but it's only 4 feet tall, so it's kind of going to make a large mound. And then we have rotunda and the next picture down, that's just kind of next to a wall, so just keep that in mind that, you know, it's a nice little holly for that location. We have our inkberry hollies here, Holly Alex Crenata. We have Beehive, it's only 4 to 5 feet tall, which is really good. Convexa, it's only 3 to 5 feet. Compactus, 6 feet. Glory's 5 to 8. So, and then we have Sky Pencil there if you want something really narrow. It gets 8 feet tall, but it's very narrow. The only thing about Sky Pencil is if we have an ice storm, it usually doesn't fare very well. Some of those shoots will be bent over and hard to get back into shape. One thing to keep in mind with the hollies is they have to have an acidic soil. So make sure that if you plant them, you do a soil test first. I mean, you can lower the pH, but if you've got a really high calcium content in your soil, it's going to keep making your pH go back up. A general rule is if your calcium is over 2,500, don't plant a plant that likes acidic soil there, because you're going to constantly be fighting that pH to keep it down. Deciduous hollies are really cool because you get a really big bang on the berries whenever they're on the plant. We have Byers Gold in there if you like a gold berry. We have Sundance, nice red, Finch's Gold. Pocahontas, a nice big plant. You look though, those can get quite large. And then we have Warren's Red, which is 25 feet. So that's not really a shrub. It's kind of a small tree. But still, it's a nice plant if you want a lot of fall color out of it. Again, all of these will have spring flowers as well. You can't have berries without flowers in the spring. This is the Cervier, which is the blue hollies. What we call blue hollies. We got Blue Princess there. China Girl. I know a lot of people have China Girls and China Boys. You got to have at least a boy to go with your China Girls. Usually 1 to 3 or 4 is enough. But China Girl, people put next to the border of the house or the landscaping in the by the house. And China Girl wants to get 20 feet tall if it's allowed to. So you have to constantly trim it to keep it back. So if you plant any of these, make sure that you're willing to either keep them trimmed or you're going to pick something a little smaller. So we have Blue Girl over there, and the Blue Girl and the Blue Princess, they have a little different bluish sheen to the leaf. That's the reason they're called the blue. And then we have Golden Girl if you want a golden berry down there, and then Red Beauty, and then Dragon Lady. So these are all nice plants. Just make sure that you keep up with your sizes on these. I've got some of these written down here. We've got Dragon Lady gets 10 to 20 feet tall. Red Beauty, 8 to 10. All of them are 6 to 8, 8 to 10 or larger. So they're a pretty good sized plant. So if you're going to let them grow in full size, be sure you give them the space to do that. Here's more deciduous hollies. These are beautiful. There's sparkleberry there. You can see how thick the berries are on that plant. We have Autumn Glow, and we have Bonfire. Bonfire holds leaves a little longer than the other ones do, and we get a little fall color in with the berries. But these are all gorgeous when they're in full show. So they don't last a long time necessarily with the berries, but they're beautiful when they do. And if you get lucky enough to get a snow when the berries are still on, it's really beautiful. Few more, we have the larger one, winter red there, holds the fruit till spring, so it holds the fruit a lot longer than the other ones do. Berry heavy is a proven winner, it's a new one. There's one called Berry Poppins. There's several of those little play on words on some of these. Red Sprite's an older variety, but you can see it's still a good one. And then I don't know if it's Cacapon. Cacapon. It's in a more of an upright form, and then we have Winter Gold if you want a gold berry. Barberry, some people don't want you planting barberry. Some people say they seed and they can become invasive, but some of these new ones are just too pretty not to plant because you get this bright color on these leaves for the entire growing season. We have Sunjoy Cinnamon up there. You can see that it has a good contrast between the lighter pink and the darker purple at the bottom. If you want something more, maybe something to brighten up an area, we have Sunjoy Citrus, which is a lime. The mini saffron's a little shorter plant. It only gets 18 inches tall. I know if you've ever grown barberry, they usually have to be trimmed to keep them shorter, and they do have thorns or bars. So just keep that in mind. But some of these new varieties are much well behaved than the older ones. Showing Sunjoy Tangelo there is gorgeous, and if you look closely, you can see that little bit of a rim of that kind of a lime green around the edge of the leaf. It really pops with that bright reddish orange foliage there. And then Sarah over here there is a darker purple leaf, but then it has little pink tips that gives you contrast as well. But these are all gorgeous. The color on these in full sun is amazing. So don't hide from the barberry. You know, the tallest one here gets 5 feet tall, and that would be Sarah and Sunjoy Cinnamon. The other ones are all 2 to 3, 18 inches to 2 feet, 3 to 4 feet. So these are much easier to keep in shape than the older varieties were. Spirea is another one of those that's come through a lot of different hybridization lately. There's all kinds of these new ones out there. Double Play is probably one of the newer series. You can see candy corn. Obviously, you can see the foliage difference there, and it remains pretty far into the season. Blue Kazoo, great. Painted Lady, the foliage there is striped and no leaf is the same. And you go on down through here, they all have flowers and maybe different foliage colors with double play red there. The great thing about Spirea is you can cut them back hard pretty much anytime during the growing season, and they're going to bounce back. That's the good thing about them. But these give you flowers and foliage texture and color, so they're really good for a long season. Few other ones out there. We have chokeberry, which you have your flowers and your berries in the fall. American Beautyberry is gorgeous. You can see there's a white form and a purple form, and you have the spring flowers, and then you have the late summer and fall fruit there. Actually, Beautyberry is also edible, so you can make some jam and jelly out of it if you want to. Don't plant the Asian types, even though the Asian types have more berries on them. They're also can seed, and they can become invasive, and we don't want them to push out our native Beautyberry. So let's go with the American on this one. And then Nandina, I just put Nandina in there because there's another one of those. There's so many different varieties of these out there. So much different textures on the foliage, really short, purple, red, whatever you want in Nandina you can get. And then we have berries. We have some from the office here that are about a foot tall, and they have really kind of a curly leaf on it. They don't get they haven't grown very much. They pretty much stayed in their shape. They don't have berries on, however, though. But it's up to you to get the type that you want. If you want the berries on it, then go find the varieties that have that. Witch hazel is one of my favorite plants because it blooms in the wintertime. Usually these will bloom in February, and you'll get your flowers, and then you'll get your fall foliage. So you get really late. Well, my light just went off. And you get really early or late winter flowers, and then you have your fall foliage. So you get 2 seasons there. It's not that they're not pretty in the summer too, but I mean they're just green, but still they're nice. Autumn Embers has gotten really nice fall color, and you've got your spring, or I should say just winter flowers. And then Harvest Gold has one of the brightest yellow fall colors, and then Lavender Princess has the lavender flowers on it, and then it turns kind of a yellow color too. So you get more interest out of these. And I don't know, it just, you go out in February and your rich hazels are blooming, you're like, spring's right around the corner. So it kind of brightens up my day a little bit when I go out and see them. Father Gilla, there's major red monarch there. You can see, I got again, you get your little white flowers in the spring, and then you get your nice red fall foliage in the fall. And then if you haven't grown Cornus moss, it's really cool because it is also really early blooming, late winter, early spring. And you get those yellow flowers all over the plant, and then in the fall you have the red berries on there, so you get two seasons out of it as well. Nine bark has been out for a while now. There's a lot of stuff going on with these, a lot of hybridization has went on with these. That first one there, get your chartreuse foliage, and then all of them bloom in the spring, usually white. And then if you see the ginger wine there, you have your fall, or you have your purple foliage. You had whitish pink flowers in the spring, and then these are the little seed heads in the fall. So you've got color there the whole season pretty much, except winter. Then they're just bare stems, but still, you get 3 seasons out of these plants. That's pretty good, and these can take really a hard cutback each season as well if you want. So I know we ran through that pretty fast, but I was trying to stay within 30 minutes. I know we wanted to stay in that time frame. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here.